Welcome to Brea Talks, an insider's look into topics that affect your experiences in the city of Brea. Whether you live, work, or play here, we're bringing you the information you need to better understand your city. So now, we invite you to listen in as Brea Talks. Hello and welcome. I'm Dan Fenstermaker, and today Brea talks electric bikes, or e-bikes as they're more commonly known. With me today, friend of the podcast, back for more, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Chris Harvey from the Brea Police Department. Lieutenant, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back, Dan.
So this year, there has been, in Brea, a major effort out of our shops, out of your department and out of our shop in communications and marketing to educate the public about e-bikes. Why this year? What's the major reason for the push in educating the public now?
So e-bikes are relatively new, although not that new. Mm-hmm. Usually it takes a while for the law to catch up with technology, so that's kind of what we're experiencing right now. So a lot of this was prompted from the June 2024 grand jury report from the Orange County Grand Jury, where they found that e-bikes were an issue for local municipalities, and they asked for municipalities to enact city codes.
I see.
And to do education and training and to track injuries and accidents involving e-bikes.
Okay, so this was a grand jury report from the county.
It started with a grand jury report from the county, but again, an issue that probably should have been addressed earlier.
Sure.
As the e-bikes became more prominent, and again, we're trying to catch up.
What is the single biggest issue? You just mentioned a couple. What is the single biggest issue that you are seeing surrounding e-bikes in Brea that you and your officers are encountering out there?
So kind of our focus is recklessness. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of riders who are really young. Mm-hmm. You know, kids who've never taken driver training, don't know the rules of the road, don't know common courtesies, and so they're getting on these bikes that go at relatively high speeds, 20 to 28 miles an hour, and so they don't really know the rules of the road. Mm-hmm. So we're really focusing on recklessness. And again, with the higher speeds, we have an amplification of injuries.
Right.
I'll give you an example of kind of a common scenario we see with, especially with these younger riders that don't fully understand the rules of the road. Mm-hmm. Some of our common scenarios with collisions involving e-bikes are when they're riding on a sidewalk, riding against traffic. Okay. And we're having a fairly regular occurrence of those kinds of crashes occurring where they're on a sidewalk and a driver doesn't expect a fast-moving bike to come from their right, for example.
Right. Obviously, there's more power there. They go faster, so they don't stop as easy, or sometimes the rider's not even looking. Right,
and a driver's looking for a pedestrian, not a 20 to 28 mile per hour bike coming on the sidewalk. And so we've had several of those types of collisions. That's just one example of again, these younger riders not necessarily understanding courteous or legalities of driving or riding on streets.
Sure. You mentioned kind of these, a lot of power behind these bikes. They vary in speed. You said 20 to 28.
Yeah.
These are different types of classes of bikes. Each bike has a class associated with it that can determine its speed and its power.
Correct.
Let's talk a little bit about, so quickly, give me an example of a class 1. There's 3 classes, correct?
There's 3 classes. So first, for any e-bike, class 1, 2, or 3, they all have to have fully operable pedals.
Okay.
And they can't go above 750 watts or can't be capable of producing more than 750 watts from their motor. So that applies to all 3 classes.
I see.
A class 1 e-bike is pedal operated and it's motor assisted, and it can go up to 20 miles an hour. So at 20 miles per hour, the motor assist or pedal assist should stop or turn off.
Okay.
And then going to a class 2, mm-hmm. Those are pedal assisted as well, but they also have the option of full throttle propulsion. And again, shouldn't exceed 20 miles per hour under throttle or pedal assist.
Okay, so when you say full throttle, so the class 2 does not require pedaling to make it move.
Correct. They're required to have operable pedals, mm-hmm. but you don't have to pedal to make the bike move. You can use a hand throttle full time.
Okay, I see. But again, 20 miles an hour max on that.
Correct.
Okay.
And then a class 3 goes up to 28 miles per hour, but they have to be fully pedal assist.
Okay.
So there's no throttle. you always have to be pedaling to make the motor engage, and the motor has to disengage when you get to 28 miles an hour.
I see. So it's the idea that harder that you pedal, the motor then assists it and basically makes pedaling easier.
Right.
But the max speed is increased to 28.
Sure. And then with those bikes, you also have to always wear a helmet no matter your age, and you have to be at least 16 to ride those.
The class 3s.
Correct.
Okay. So that's a good segue into our next. So let's talk about, young riders and parents buying these
Sure.
young riders their e-bikes. A parent walks into a store and they just say, I would like to buy my child an e-bike. Or maybe the child is with them and says, that one looks cool, I want that one. It's important for parents to know what class they're buying when they buy it. And maybe the classes they vary in price, and maybe I'm not trying to throw the bike sales industry under the bus here, but if they work on commission, they might be looking to sell you the most expensive.
Sure.
These bikes need to be labeled.
Yep.
As to what class they are.
Yeah, so the vehicle code requires a label that is permanently affixed at a prominent location, and the label has to have the bike class, the top pedal assist speed, and the motor wattage clearly displayed on it. And it goes into a lot of nuance, like it has to be an Arial font that's at least 9 points tall.
Oh, wow.
And then our Muni code allows our officers, if they suspect there's an age violation, like someone under 16 on a class 3 or a modification, the rider is required to allow the officer to inspect the bike for that sticker and that classification.
I see. Okay. So, situation where, the salesperson is saying, oh, this is the best one on the market, or whatever, the parent can clearly ask to see a sticker, and they are legally obligated to be marked.
Sure. And what we're finding too, Dan, is that, parents are buying these on Amazon or whatever you name the online marketplace.
Right.
So they don't have the opportunity to do anything except for trust what's advertised.
I see.
And so again, looking at the top speed and not what it's advertised as the wattage, but the maximum potential wattage of that motor will kind of give you an idea of what type of bike that is.
So that's what they should be looking for.
Yes.
750 watts
Or
or
less.
or below.
Right.
Okay.
And then under 20 or 28 miles an hour, depending on what class they're advertising it as.
Got it. Okay. So then let's talk about another type of vehicle that maybe intentionally or unintentionally are purchased and ridden around are these, they're not e-bikes. They're
Right.
e-motorcycles.
Yes. And that's probably what we're encountering mostly in our field operations, are e-motorcycles that parents or kids thought were e-bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And so these e-motorcycles, they'll go above 20 miles per hour on throttle without pedal assist, or above 28 with a pedal assist, or they have the capacity to go above 750 watts.
I see.
Those are e-motorcycles, and those require a driver's license. They are required to be registered in California. They're required to have insurance, just like a car.
I see.
So they're basically a motor vehicle because of their power, but they're being marketed and sold as e-bikes.
And there's no place for these right now. These are not street legal.
They are not, in general, not street legal at all, and there's not a way to make them street legal with the things that are required.
I see.
You'll see things like, I said an e-bike is required to have operable pedals, and so some of these manufacturers will even put like decoy or dummy pedals on that are inoperable. It's a full throttle powered bike with fake pedals on it to make it look like an e-bike. So
Sure.
again, just be very cautious when you're buying these. They're also super expensive, and when we're catching people riding them, they're getting fairly expensive tickets, and the bikes are getting impounded.
And this is a situation where, an officer doesn't necessarily need to, if an officer pulls over one of these vehicles, they don't need to take it for a spin themselves. They simply just lift up the back.
It's just a matter of inspection, yeah.
Yeah, lift up the back tire, hit the throttle, and watch the odometer sail over, in some cases, over 50 miles an hour.
Sure, yeah, 50, 60, 70 miles per hour in some cases. Again, with really young kids riding these.
Yeah.
Super dangerous situation.
Sure. Okay, let's go back to the legal types.
Sure.
Of e-bikes, and let's assume we're following the laws here. Let's assume we have our helmets on, if in these cases, and we're riding the correct class. Where can they be ridden?
So they're designed to be ridden in like approved bikeways, like bike lanes. the tracks to trails, places that are designed for bike riding. What we experience that we don't want to see are bikes riding on places like recreational trails, like horse trails or bike trails, or riding across parks or through fields, through crowded areas. Technically, it's illegal to ride on a sidewalk. And again, focusing on recklessness and safety, we're looking mainly for that was written into municipal code for situations where people are riding on the sidewalk where it's hazardous, like, it's narrow, there's trees, there's pedestrians. So technically, you're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk. Again, if you're being safe about it, and that's the safest route, especially if you're a child, like you're
super busy street, and you're very young, and you're not looking for the 9-year-old riding their bike on a sidewalk safely.
If they're riding safely, they're not going to get any attention from the police. It's technically illegal to be on a sidewalk, but there's a fair amount of discretion from our officers in those circumstances.
Sure. Okay, talking about young riders and, out on the streets, let's talk a little bit about our partnership with the school district.
Sure.
We've been partnering with the Brea Olinda Unified School District on this because a lot of students wish to ride their e-bikes to school.
Sure.
What can you tell us about the process and how we're working with the school district to make it safer for these students that wish to ride their bikes to class?
So I guess starting on the topic of education in general, as we kind of went into this, one of the facets the grand jury wanted us to look at was education. Kind of what we've learned from other agencies, especially like the beach cities that have a massive inswell of these e-bikes. Education is kind of the biggest impact that we can have, ideally on the parents and the kids. Most of the riders are young. Probably the most impactful education, like I said, comes from educating the parents with the kids. So with the school district they have a really strong reach into that age demographic, so we partner with them. It's been a really great, powerful partnership. One of the things that we did is we wrote a training course, just a general e-bike safety training course, but it also goes through like the rules of the road and safe driving and courteous driving and things like, right-of-way and hand signals and things that, again, kids aren't learning yet before driver training. So we designed this class. It accomplishes a few things. One of the things it accomplishes is the school district requires a student and parent who wishes to ride their e-bike to school to attend the class and complete it.
Okay.
And then they'll be issued a permit from the school, identical to a permit you'd get for your car if you were going to drive.
Okay.
So there's a permit process. The permit process requires a successful completion of the class.
And that's all handled through the school district?
It's handled through a combination of the permit process is through the school district, yes.
Okay, yeah.
And then both of us have kind of marketing on our websites for the classes. We're doing one today, this afternoon, with 45 plus kids and their parents coming.
Wow.
So it's been relatively successful.
And this is your second one that you've had, and you had a pretty bad. Was that your first course? A huge turnout.
Yeah, our first course a couple weeks ago, similar numbers. We'll do one today, and then we're planning on doing them. We haven't fully worked out the cadence, but either every quarter or every 6 months or so.
I see. And these courses, they aren't just for that. We're also offering them as a bit of a traffic school option for violators. Is that correct?
Yes. So we designed the course to be a general e-bike safety course. The school district is using it for their permit process. Mm-hmm. In the municipal code, there is a caveat that allows the police department for e-bike violations, not the motorcycle violations, but for juvenile e-bike violators and their parents to attend this class if they get a citation in lieu of paying a fine. So very similar to a traffic school for driving. There'll be some restrictions on that, like you can't go, every month. You can't keep getting tickets and go to class. Like, it's going to be like traffic school. You can go maybe once every 18 months, and that'll be fully at our traffic division's discretion.
Okay. Yeah, repeat offenders over and over again. There's something.
Yeah, the class isn't working at that point. Yeah. So maybe you have to start paying your fines and learning that way. So It's all about bringing people into compliance and again, educating them and teaching them the safe way to ride or drive in the case of driving school or traffic school.
Right. E-bikes aren't going anywhere. You recognize that. There's a place for them as long as it's done safely and people are educated on it.
Yeah, I mean, we think they're really neat. Mm-hmm. They're really useful. They're really functional and they look fun to ride. And, I've ridden electric scooters, not a bike, but there's certainly a place for them, but we want people to be safe.
I'd like to see that.
No, I don't know about that.
When's the next time you jump on an electric scooter?
I'm getting pretty advanced in my age, Dan. I'm not really looking to break bones.
Very good. Well, this is all great information, Lieutenant. But when can people go for more information as needed?
Okay, so there's a couple things. The police department and city have a webpage section dedicated to e-bikes and e-bike safety. That includes a series of videos that we're working on, we being you, Dan.
Yes.
So we have the first 2 videos out and more coming. The Brea School District website has matching information on their site, again, a specific page dedicated to e-bikes. Your team, Dan, came up with this e-bike safety 1-page document, really nice 2-sided color document that we're going to post at school campuses, at city facilities, and then give out during school district and city events.
Excellent. That website, our website, just to be clear, is cityofbrea.gov/ebikes.
Yep.
And that'll take you right to all the information that you, Lieutenant, were just mentioning on our page. So, Lieutenant, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure here too.
I can't wait for our next one. I'm hoping that you've jumped on that scooter a couple times between now and our next one, so we can talk about how it went.
Maybe you'll convince me to get on an e-bike and get some footage.
Let's go riding.
Yeah,
Lieutenant.
yeah.
Thanks again.
All right.
That's it for this episode of Brea Talks. This episode and all episodes of Brea Talks can be heard wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on Brea TV and our Brea TV app. Do not forget to follow, like, subscribe, rate, and review, and we will see you next time. Thanks again for listening in as Brea Talks.